So there are Nintendo Switch 2s out in the wild, and now people are showing them off. And you've seen probably the videos of the Switch 2 out on YouTube. I've seen some videos, and they were taken down immediately. Some of them are still up. They're fighting a good fight against Nintendo until the console is released later on this week, and people are pretty much excited. Also, this is a time where people are buying these consoles to see if they can hack them, see if they can jailbreak them immediately because of how successful the Switch 1 was. And some of them aren't getting really good results based on what I've seen on the internet. So I don't know how true this is, but basically you could probably believe it because Nintendo is not playing around this go around. You see what happened with the Nintendo Switch 1, that being hacked, and even emulators out there, they pretty much cracked down on it. So they're probably trying to do that with the Switch too. So hackers apparently FAFO'd, rumored to brick their consoles. We're going to talk about that and everything under the umbrella. Before I get into that, I want to thank you guys for clicking on this video. I want to appreciate everybody who's been watching the live streams. We had an excellent live stream when it came to Doom 3 last night. It was absolutely awesome. Go check it out. I got the full playlist down so you can watch me play that Resurrection of Evil. Completed that, and I will be working on the next live stream. So hopefully, I just don't know what game I'm gonna play next. So hopefully you guys hang around by liking the video, subscribing to the channel. All right, let's go ahead and get into this. Hackers are reportedly already having trouble with their Switch 2s. Apparently, there's not going well for them. And I'll have this article linked down in the description. You can check this out. It looks like Nintendo is going to be in for a tough time for hackers. Reportedly, some have already have their units and found out it's much more protected than the original Switch. There isn't a developer or publisher out there that likes it when consumers try to hack their games or consoles, but no one quite hates it much as Nintendo. Several lawsuits, controversies, and have proven in the past that Nintendo is really against hacking and piracy, especially during the Nintendo Switch era. Yeah, like I said, they had like a really big issue with this, and now they're pretty much going to probably crack down on it. They already said that they're trying to brick people consoles immediately if they see anything out of the way that's not up to what they think it should be, which I think that should be illegal, but that's another story. I'll get into that sometime down the road because I know this is a topic that's not going to go away. Okay, with that being said, Nintendo dislike of hacking hasn't really translated to its consoles and games over the past few years, as the Nintendo Switch seemingly didn't give any much trouble when it came to cracking it. It looks like that's not going to be the case with the Nintendo Switch 2. And if the reports are true, this is going to be the case. So apparently, if you go on Reddit, Switch to hacks, it was posted. And basically, I'm going to pull this up on Reddit. I'm probably going to have to link to this down as well so you can see this as well. Allegedly, some hackers are trying to use the MIG switch. So if you do know the MIG situation it was like a little it was like a card, like a Nintendo Switch card that you put in to the Switch 1, and it basically jailbroke the Nintendo Switch 1. They tried it again. You put the Switch into the Switch 2. It apparently locks them out, and it ends up boot looping, where it will try to boot over and over again, but it won't go past a certain point during the boot. So there's a couple of things that this person put out about this, and I'm going to read this. I will put it up on the screen, but I'm doing different editing, so it's not the best right now, so please bear with me. Hopefully that will be resolved at some point. Hackers got their hands on the Switch 2. MIG switch tested and immediately locks out the Switch 2, turning it into a brick, ends up boot looping. Also, testers have produced the flash storage from the ROM chip, and it immediately locks out the Switch 2, turning it into a brick. Switch 2 detect that it's some weird protection. It detects that it has some weird protection that can detect voltage changes, and that tools when scanning the chips, even when it's minor. So basically, if the voltage change when they use whatever they're using to jailbreak or try to hack the Switch 2, it will immediately lock out and break the Switch 2. Now, this could be a really big problem, and I don't want to get too far into this, but basically, if you have a different voltage in your Switch 2, it could break your Switch 2. This is a really big problem, because what if you're using third-party power bricks? What if you're using something that you can charge your Switch on the go? What if you use anything that's outside of the actual official, official means to charge your Switch? What if what if something happens while you're playing your Switch on the TV? The lights go out, or what if you have a power surge? This could be a really big issue, but this is how Nintendo's rolling. And yeah, if it wasn't for my son, this would not be a purchase. And low key, I'm kind of reconsidering that. Not really. I mean, this kid's gonna get it. I already promised it to him. But nevertheless, that's what's going on with the Switch 2. Now you're dealing with an issue where, first of all, I could see the MIG switch, the MIG switch cartridge being put into a Switch 2 not working. I could see that because that's simple. You put any unauthorized thing into any console, and if it's a pure console and not a jailbroken, you're gonna have an issue. So I kind of see what they're trying to do with that. But with the voltage thing, this could be a really big problem. But nevertheless, hackers, FAFO, they tried to hack it. They found out the hard way that it's bricking consoles allegedly. So I this looked like this is the case. So I don't know if this is going to be something that's actually if it's a thing. Well, I don't know. But I'm gonna go to the next paragraph, and I'm gonna just close out the video with this. Testers that unless the exploit is found and it doesn't result into a brick when implemented, it won't happen in a long time. I know 3 testers that were working on the hardware and software modding and know that they're doing just fine. That any work immediately bricks, and Nintendo gave a troubleshooting step to reload the firmware from an SD card, but stuck in boot looping. I don't know who wrote this, but that's just crazy. In the end, it had to return to Nintendo, and they longer allowed, I guess they said they no longer allowed to be testers and had to pay for the console. Otherwise, it would go to small claims court as it had some form of internal reporting that unauthorized use was made. So whoever had this, probably somebody who had early access to it. Yeah, that's very smart. If you got early access directly from Nintendo, that's probably one of the last things you want to do is to mess with their stuff. But hey, nevertheless, I don't know if this is true or not, but this I'm gonna put the link down in the description. Take it as your own risk, but I would not be surprised. I mean, this is something that Nintendo is very much cracking down on, and this is something that Nintendo will probably continue to work on throughout this entire generation when it comes to the Switch 2. They don't want to have an issue where this stuff is being hijacked, jailbroken, any of that stuff. They don't want to deal with this type of issue. So they already had a problem with Yuzu, and what was the other one they had? I can't remember the other emulator they had. And on top of the initial jailbreaking of the Switch 1, and then the other one that happened after that with the MIG Switch, they don't want to deal with this. So this is something that I don't think that's going to bode well in the long run when it comes to the Nintendo Switch. But I also do believe at some point they're going to exploit the Switch too. I mean, hackers and people who do jailbreaking end up winning in the long run. I mean, you just look at every single console that has been jailbroken or whatever the case may be. The hackers end up finding a way to do it one way or another. And if it's not done that way, they find a way to actually, emulate it on the PC. I think the only console that's out there that's not really jailbroken yet is like the Xbox One and the Xbox Series, because I think those are integrated into Windows 10 and Windows 11, and yeah, good luck with that. I don't know if that's going to happen, but hey, anything's possible. But I think pretty much any console that wanted to be jailbroken has already been jailbroken, and I won't be surprised if it happens at some point. But let me know what y'all think. Do you think this is real? I think there is some truth to this. I would not be surprised. People have been jumping on a Nintendo hacking, jailbreaking bandwagon for years, and this is nothing new. I mean, I remember even going all the way back to at least the Wii and with the Dolphin emulator and the GameCube. They've been trying to get through those things for a long time, and I'm not surprised that this is a thing now. So y'all let me know what y'all think. I have the links down in the description. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Like, share, subscribe. I will be seeing y'all on the next one. All right, y'all, I'm out. Peace.